But for the stock of the day, I thought we'd take a look at Australian Vanadium, but we can talk about the battery space in particular because shares in that little company are up by 25% today after it was awarded a $49 million grant from the government as it looks to take advantage of the EV boom. So really, the federal government, after saying that EVs were going to steal our weekends, if you recall, I think it was the last election campaign, now is looking to allow the country to capitalize on the boom, which is happening everywhere. Also, I think it's interesting, in today, Queensland has released a $3,000 subsidy for EVs under 58,000. So that does eliminate Tesla. But what we want to focus on for the stock of the day is Australian Vanadium. But I will also mention that Arafura Resources got $30 million from the government in a rare earth separation plan, and Alpha PH has been given a grant by the government as well. So a lot of those little resources companies coming on the radar as we look to advance toward this decarbonization theme. So I will start with you, Carl Capolingua in Perth, for Australian Vanadium. It is a mineral that is used in steel alloys, it's used in battery technologies, it's used in tools, it's got many different uses. It can even be used in some health applications. But Australian Vanadium is basically building some sort of a project that will again supply this high-grade mineral to steel and energy storage markets. What do you think of it?
Yeah, correct. It's a very interesting little company, and when I say little, I mean in terms of share price, it's only about 4 cents. And so that, when we say 25% pop today, it sounds big, but it's gone from three and a bit to 4 and a bit. But great for the company. Obviously, 49 million in the bank to pursue these initiatives. They've got an operation sort of a bit north east of Geraldton and a bit southwest of Carnarvon, if you like, over here in WA.
I know exactly where you're talking about. I do. I've driven there.
But look, as you said, vanadium is all the rage at the moment on the market. So obviously steel hardener, but what investors are really excited about at the moment with respect to vanadium companies is this idea of the next gen, potentially next gen. I mean, there's a few next gens competing, right, for the next battery. But this vanadium redox battery, which has a higher energy density than your current lithium ion, and that means that the batteries can last longer on a particular charge. So that's what everybody's excited about. It's all about your range anxiety with your Teslas, bringing that down, hoping to push into that sort of 1,000-kilometre range of vehicle and beyond. So, look, they're a player. There are a player in this space, and one of the better looking local alternatives, particularly on the chart. So I definitely like the chart. It is very much bottom left, top right. Little bit sketchy there on screen, but if you look at the candlesticks, and I love my candlesticks, definitely looking quite healthy there. So short-term trends, long-term trends, price action into higher peaks and high troughs, all the good stuff, all the stuff I really like to see. It's one I've been tweeting about for a while. I think since late November I checked my notes, and then it was my featured chart on the 7th of Jan, just sort of starting to ramp up. So if you're in it on any of those recommendations, I would definitely hold on to it. If you're not in it, I still think you can buy this one. I still think there's plenty left in this chart. However, look, a little bit of a pop today, you might want to wait for a pullback. So I think 4 cents now is that key support level, and if you can get in around there, I think that'll be good buying for a medium to longer term play.
Got it. So yeah, buy on a pullback, which we're likely to see sort of at some time, anytime really, in the coming weeks. Now, in fairness to you, Michael, I know that this is not the area of the market that you look at, but know how you feel about hydrogen. Too soon, can't pick a winner at this stage of the game. But we've now got a lot of the, if you're not interested in this one, how do you gain exposure then to the emerging thematic of EV, the battery technology that will fuel that decarbonization trend?
Well, I think the way that we've played it to date has been through the lithium space, formerly Galaxy Resources, Orocobre, now Alkene. That's been a very good place to be, but we have to be cautious. We did see a few years ago a lot of supply come on the market. That wasn't taken up, the price pulled back, and you do get opportunities with these volatile type commodities. This particular announcement today I think shows you just where this market is heading, particularly in rare earths. I mean, Vanadium has been designated a critical material by the US, by Japan, by Europe and Australia as well. And times like this, when you've got these conflicts and geopolitical tensions around, it does highlight the critical importance of some of these materials, which historically you could only get from certain parts of the world that mightn't always be as accommodating. So there's going to be more and more of this, I think, if it's certainly for these rarer type materials where there's not a lot of supply globally. But you have to also take it in your stride, knowing that these are small, emerging businesses and they could absorb a lot of capital before they eventually turn into producers who are generating a profit. So it is difficult. I suppose another good way that we've got for clients as well is the ACDC ETF. ETFs do make your life easier sometimes, just giving you a basket of exposures when you're not so certain about the individual companies. So that's a couple of different things to look at. There's obviously battery technology ETFs these days as well. And if you're happy to look overseas, there's also various ETFs. So that's probably the easiest way to play some of these emerging spaces.
So not AVL, Australian Vanadium?
Probably not for me at this point, but I'm happy to go with Carl as a technical side of things.
Yeah.
But you can see the chart, it's not very liquid. It does move around a fair bit, just given the fact that the share price is 4 cents or whatever it may be. So it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but it's definitely going to be on a lot more people's radar after today. But from my standpoint, it's hard to give it a buy, just given the risky nature of it.